The handwritten note sits exactly where I left it 3 days ago, mocking me from the kitchen counter like a death sentence written in Vanessa's careful cursive. I never signed up for this. I'm sorry. Vanessa. 20 readings haven't made the words any less devastating. I'm 34 years old and I thought I understood betrayal. I thought I knew what abandonment felt like when our parents died in that car wreck 5 years back, leaving Emma and me to navigate the world alone. But this is a different kind of death entirely. The apartment feels like a mausoleum now. Every corner holds ghosts of our 4-year marriage. The couch where we'd binge-watch Netflix on Sunday afternoons. The kitchen table where Vanessa would drink her morning coffee while scrolling through her phone. The bedroom where she used to curl against my back and whisper about our someday dreams. All of it feels contaminated now. 3 weeks ago, I walked into Dr. Martinez's office expecting routine blood work results. Maybe low iron, maybe I needed more sleep. Corporate accounting at the telecommunications firm pays the bills, 75 grand a year. But the stress had been wearing on me. The exhaustion, the night sweats, the weight loss I'd been secretly grateful for. Stage 2 lymphoma, Dr. Martinez said, and the world tilted sideways. Very treatable with aggressive chemotherapy. You'll need a strong support system, but the prognosis is excellent. I drove home in a daze, hands trembling on the steering wheel, practicing how I'd tell my wife that I had cancer. I assumed her support was a given. Just needed to break the news gently, reassure her that we'd get through this together. Vanessa was folding laundry when I walked in, humming some pop song under her breath. She'd quit her retail job 6 months into our marriage, claiming she wanted to focus on building our home. I'd supported the decision, believing she'd return to work once we were more established. Looking back now, I see it differently. She'd been auditioning for the role of pampered wife. "Vanessa," I said, my voice barely steady, "we need to talk." She looked up from the t-shirt she was folding and her expression shifted immediately. "What's wrong?" she asked. I told her everything. The diagnosis, the treatment plan, the months of chemotherapy ahead. I watched her face drain of color, watched her hands stop moving, watched her sink onto the edge of our bed like her legs couldn't hold her anymore. "Treatable," I kept emphasizing. "The doctors are optimistic." She nodded slowly, mechanically, her eyes fixed on some point beyond my shoulder. "Okay," she whispered. That night she slept on the couch. When I asked her about it the next morning, she claimed she was fighting off a cold and didn't want to get me sick before treatment started. It seemed thoughtful. I should have known better. The next evening I came home from work to find her packing suitcases. 2 of them, both nearly full. She moved with efficient purpose, like someone catching a flight they couldn't miss. "What's happening?" I asked, though some part of me already knew. She didn't look at me, kept folding clothes, filling the cases with surgical precision. "I can't do this, Richard," she replied without meeting my eyes. "I'm not strong enough. I can't watch you go through this." The words hit me like physical blows. "What do you mean you can't do this?" I demanded. "This is our marriage, Vanessa. This is what in sickness and in health means." Finally, she looked at me. Her eyes were red-rimmed but determined. "I never actually thought that part would matter," she said quietly. "I thought it was just words people say." Just words people say. 4 years of marriage, and she thought our vows were ceremonial poetry. "I'll help with the insurance paperwork," she continued, zipping up the first suitcase. "And I won't fight you on the divorce. I can't be here for this." By afternoon, she was gone. No fight, no tears, no dramatic scene. She just left. Like I was an apartment lease she decided not to renew. Now I sit in the silence she left behind, staring at her note, trying to comprehend the mathematical impossibility of it all. The woman who'd promised to love me forever had an escape clause I'd never known existed. My phone sits on the counter beside the note, Dr. Martinez's treatment schedule already loaded in my calendar. First chemotherapy session scheduled for tomorrow morning. I'm supposed to bring a support person, someone to drive me home afterward. I scroll through my contacts, realizing how small my world has become. Work colleagues who'd send sympathy cards but wouldn't hold my head while I vomit. The devastating loneliness of modern life crystallizes in this moment. I have no one. Except Emma. My younger sister lives 3 states away, working as a surgical nurse in Portland. At 28, she's already tougher than I'll ever be, having chosen a profession that requires her to witness suffering every single day. My hands shake as I dial her number. She answers on the second ring, her voice immediately alert. Nurses develop an instinct for emergency calls. "Richard, what's wrong?" she asked immediately. I try to speak, but the words lodge in my throat like stones. How do you tell your sister you have cancer and your wife abandoned you in the same conversation? "Richard, talk to me. What happened?" she pressed. "I have lymphoma," I finally manage, "and Vanessa left." The silence stretches for exactly 3 heartbeats. Then, "I'm booking a flight. Tonight, you're not doing this alone," she declared firmly. No questions about Vanessa's reasons. No attempts to play devil's advocate or suggest couples counseling. Emma has always been a problem solver, a person who steps into wreckage and starts building something better. "Emma, you don't have to," I began. "Shut up," she interrupted, but gently. "Family doesn't abandon family, ever. I'll be there tomorrow morning." After we hang up, I walk through the apartment one more time, seeing it with new eyes. The empty closet where Vanessa's clothes used to hang. The bathroom missing half its products. She took everything that mattered to her and left everything that reminded me of us. But she also left something behind without realizing it. Clarity. For the first time in our marriage, I can see exactly who Vanessa is. Not the woman I thought I'd married, but the person who was always there underneath. As I drift toward uneasy sleep, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "I heard about your diagnosis. I'm sorry you're going through this." Sarah. Sarah, Vanessa's best friend. The confirmation that Vanessa knew exactly what she was doing when she left, that she'd already started telling people her version of the story. I delete the text without responding. Tomorrow, Emma arrives. Tomorrow, I start fighting for my life. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a small voice whispers that maybe Vanessa leaving me will turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. What? Emma arrives the next morning carrying 2 duffel bags and an expression that could cut glass. She takes one look at me, unshaven, hollow-eyed, wearing yesterday's clothes, and sets her bags down with the kind of finality that says she's not going anywhere. "Shower," she commands, pointing toward the bathroom. "We leave for the hospital in an hour, and you're going to walk in there looking like someone worth saving." This is Emma at her core, practical, fierce, utterly uncompromising when it comes to the people she loves. She's taken a leave of absence from her nursing job without hesitation, burning through her savings and sacrificing her own life to save mine. The first chemotherapy session is everything the pamphlets warned about and worse. I sit in a reclining chair while poison drips into my veins, supposedly killing the cancer faster than it kills me. Emma sits beside me, reading medical journals and occasionally squeezing my hand when the nausea hits. "This is the worst it gets," she lies, and we both know it, but the lie feels like love. Over the next 8 months, we develop a routine born of necessity and survival. Emma sleeps on the couch, always within earshot of my bedroom. She wakes me every 4 hours for medications, forces me to eat when food tastes like cardboard, walks me around the block even when I can barely stand. She researches nutrition plans, tracks my weight loss, monitors my white blood cell counts like they're stock prices determining our future. During my 2nd month of treatment, I file for divorce. The paperwork feels anticlimactic, just another administrative task in a life suddenly full of forms and appointments. Vanessa doesn't contest it. Through her lawyer, she claims half of our minimal savings, $8,000, and nothing else. No alimony requests, no fight over assets, no attempt to contact me directly. Through mutual acquaintances, I learned she's moved to another city and started dating someone new. A healthy someone, presumably. The rage hits me in waves during those months, not just at Vanessa, but at the cosmic unfairness of it all. I followed all the rules, worked hard, paid my bills, treated my wife with respect, and got rewarded with cancer and abandonment. Meanwhile, Emma sacrifices everything and gets nothing but the privilege of watching me suffer. "You're not suffering alone anymore," she reminds me during one of my darker moments. "That's the difference." By the 6th round of chemotherapy, I've lost 40 pounds and most of my hair. I look like a scarecrow, all sharp angles and hollow cheeks. But the blood tests show what we've been fighting for. The cancer is retreating. Dr. Martinez uses words like excellent response and very encouraging. The cancer goes into remission after 11 months of treatment. I'm weak, damaged, but alive. Emma has sacrificed everything, her job, her apartment lease, a 2-year relationship with a fellow nurse who couldn't understand why she'd disappear across the country for a brother's illness. "I'm staying," she announces when I suggest she should return to Portland. "You're not stable enough to live alone, and I like this city. I've already applied for positions at 3 hospitals here. Over the next 3 years, I rebuild myself from scratch. I switch jobs, landing a senior financial analyst position that pays $95,000 a year. I start working out, gradually regaining the weight and strength I lost. I go to therapy, processing the twin traumas of cancer and abandonment. Emma thrives alongside me. She takes a position at the city's largest hospital, quickly establishing herself as the kind of nurse other nurses trust in crisis situations. We split the rent on the apartment, falling into an easy domestic rhythm that feels more natural than my marriage ever did. Around year 4 after my diagnosis, something shifts between us. Emma is 32 now, no longer my little sister, but a stunning woman who's grown into her own power. She's compassionate without being soft, sharp-witted without being cruel, fiercely independent while still choosing to build a life alongside mine. I catch myself noticing the way she laughs at my jokes, how she touches my shoulder when she passes, the lingering looks that last just a moment too long. One evening, after wine and honest conversation about loneliness, we cross the line that society says we shouldn't cross. It feels wrong for exactly 10 seconds, until we both realize it feels right. Two people who have survived hell together, who know each other's scars, who choose each other every single day. We navigate the social complexity with the same methodical approach we used during my cancer treatment, researching legal implications, discussing potential complications, being brutally honest about our feelings. We discover that we're not biologically related closely enough for it to matter legally or morally. Different fathers, only connected through our late parents' marriage when we were teenagers. By year 7 after my diagnosis, we're living openly as a couple. By year 9, we've moved to a beautiful 3-bedroom house in a quiet suburb, both thriving professionally. Emma becomes an ER head nurse. I get promoted to finance director, earning $140,000 a year. We don't marry. The concept feels performative after what I endured, but our commitment is absolute. Year 10 after my diagnosis arrives like a gift I never expected to receive. I'm 44, healthy, successful, and deeply in love with the woman who saved my life. Emma is 38, radiant, fulfilled. We're hosting a Sunday brunch when the doorbell rings. Emma goes to answer the door, and I hear her voice change immediately, dropping to a tone I haven't heard since my cancer days. Cold, protective, dangerous. "You," she says flatly. I set down my coffee mug and walk toward the front door, curiosity shifting to alarm when I see Emma's posture, shoulders squared, blocking the doorway like a sentinel. That's when I see her, standing on our porch, looking older than her 42 years, wearing clothes that have seen better days and an expression of desperate hope. Vanessa, the woman who abandoned me during the darkest hour of my life, is standing at the door of the life I built without her, and I can see in her eyes that she wants something from me. But Emma doesn't recognize her at first. 10 years have carved deep changes into the woman standing on our porch. Vanessa is 42 but looks older, her face carrying the weight of decisions that aged her from the inside out. The designer clothes she used to favor have been replaced by discount store basics. Her hair, once perfectly styled, is pulled back in a utilitarian ponytail. But it's her eyes that tell the real story, desperate, haunted, carrying the kind of defeat that comes from a decade of poor choices. Is Richard here?" Vanessa stammers, and I watch Emma's expression harden into something that could etch glass. "You," Emma says again, and there's a universe of contempt packed into that single word. Vanessa's face goes through a series of emotions: confusion, recognition, dawning horror. Her eyes scan Emma from head to toe, taking in the designer jeans I bought her for Christmas, the diamond bracelet she's wearing, the confident way she stands in our doorway like she belongs there. Because she does. "Emma, what are you? Why are you?" Vanessa stammers, unable to finish the sentence, unable to process what she's seeing. I appear behind Emma, drawn by the tension in her voice. When I see Vanessa, time fractures for a moment. The last time we were in the same space was a lawyer's office 10 years ago, signing divorce papers while I wore a hospital bracelet from my 3rd chemo treatment. She'd looked through me that day, eager to finalize our dissolution and move on with her life. Now she's here on the porch, of the life I built in her absence, and I feel nothing. No anger, no hurt, no residual love. Just the mild curiosity you might feel encountering a stranger who reminds you of someone you used to know. "Richard, I need to talk to you. Please, can I come in?" she pleads. Emma instinctively steps between us, but I gently touch her shoulder. "It's okay," I say quietly. We don't invite Vanessa inside. Instead, I join Emma on the porch, closing the door behind me. We stand together, a united front, while Vanessa stands alone on the walkway, a perfect metaphor for the last 10 years. The words pour out of Vanessa like water from a broken dam. She made a mistake, a terrible, unforgivable mistake. She was young and scared and couldn't handle the thought of losing me, so she ran. She's thought about me every day since. She tracked me down through old contacts, found our address, came here to apologize, to make things right. I was wrong to leave, she says, her voice cracking. I know that now. I should have stayed. I should have been there. I listen without expression, arms crossed, while Emma's hand finds mine. Our fingers interlace naturally, a gesture that doesn't escape Vanessa's notice. Her eyes drop to our joined hands and something breaks further in her face. Are you too? She begins, unable to finish the question. We're together, Emma replies, her voice sharp as broken glass. Have been for 6 years. Vanessa recoils like she's been slapped. But she's your sister, she gasps. Half-sister, I correct quietly. Different fathers. No biological relation close enough to matter legally or morally. And frankly, after what you did, you have zero right to judge any relationship I choose to have. Vanessa tries a different approach, desperation making her voice higher, more frantic. She explains her decade of failures. The man she left me for dumped her within 2 years. She bounced between relationships, jobs, cities, never finding the stability she'd walked away from. She's been working as a waitress for the past year, living in a studio apartment, drowning in credit card debt. I came here hoping, I don't know what I was hoping. Forgiveness, maybe, a second chance, she continues desperately. The audacity is breathtaking, but I keep my expression neutral. This woman abandoned me when I was dying, and now she wants forgiveness because her life didn't turn out the way she'd planned. You left me a note, Vanessa, when I had cancer. You packed your things and walked out like I was an inconvenience you could just discard, I state calmly, though I can feel the old anger stirring beneath the surface. Do you know what that did to me? Do you have any idea what it's like to face death alone because the person who promised to love you couldn't be bothered to stay? I was scared, she starts. Everyone was scared, Emma cuts in, her voice rising. You think Richard wasn't terrified? You think I wasn't. But some of us don't run when things get hard. Some of us actually mean it when we make promises to people. I watch Vanessa absorb this, see her expression shift from desperate to calculating. Her eyes sweep our house. The new cars in the driveway, the well-maintained garden, the obvious signs of financial success. I can almost see her mind working, adding up the cost of what she walked away from. You seem to have done well for yourself, she observes, and there's something different in her tone now. I don't suppose. I mean, I'm really struggling right now. If you could help me out just a little, maybe a few thousand to get back on my feet. The words hang in the air like a toxic cloud. She's asking me for money. The woman who abandoned me during cancer treatment is standing on my porch, asking for a handout because her backup plans didn't work out. I actually laugh, but there's no humor in it. You're asking me for money? I respond incredulously. I just need help, she pleads. You need help? Emma's voice is pure ice. You abandoned a dying man and now you want him to pay you, you narcissistic bitch. Vanessa's face flushes red. You don't understand what it was like, she protests. I understand perfectly, Emma replies, stepping forward. You're a coward who only shows up when you need something. You had your chance to be part of his life and you chose to run. Now you see what you gave up and want to cash in on it. I loved him, Vanessa insists. You loved the idea of him, I interrupt. You loved the comfortable life, the security, the easy parts. You never loved me enough to stay when things got hard. Vanessa's desperation shifts to anger. So you replaced me with your own sister. That's sick, Richard. That's perverted, she snaps. What's perverted? Emma says, her voice deadly quiet. Is abandoning someone during chemotherapy and then showing up a decade later asking for money. What's sick is thinking you have any right to judge how we live our lives. We're done here, I say finally. Do. And come back, don't call, don't try to contact us ever again. You made your choice 10 years ago, now live with it. Emma steps forward, forcing Vanessa back. If you ever show up here again, if you ever try to contact him, if I even hear that you've been asking about us, I will make sure everyone in this city knows exactly what kind of person you are. A woman who abandons cancer patients. Trust me, that's not a reputation you want to carry, she threatens coldly. Vanessa opens her mouth to respond, but Emma cuts her off. Get off our property, now. Emma slams the door with finality, the sound echoing like a judge's gavel. Through the window, we watch Vanessa stand on the walkway for a long moment, shoulders slumped, before finally walking away. She disappears down the street and out of our lives forever. Inside the house, Emma's hand is still shaking with adrenaline. I wrap my arms around her from behind, resting my chin on her shoulder. "Thank you," I whisper, "for everything, for then and for now." We stand there for a moment, holding each other in the quiet aftermath, processing the ghost that tried to return and the life we've built that she can never touch. The door closes and silence fills our house like water rushing into a broken space, sealing it whole again. Emma's hand trembles slightly in the aftermath, adrenaline still coursing through her system. I pull her close, feeling the solid warmth of her against my chest, real, present mine. "Thank you," I whisper into her hair, "for protecting us, for protecting me." We move to the kitchen where our abandoned brunch waits on granite countertops. Fresh croissants, fruit salad, coffee in expensive mugs we bought together last spring. The normalcy of it feels surreal after the confrontation. Emma pours us both wine even though it's only 11 a.m. and neither of us comments on it. Our friends sense the tension but are too polite to probe. We rejoin them with forced smiles, but I can feel Emma's energy beside me, coiled and protective. She keeps one hand on my arm throughout the meal, a constant reminder that I'm not alone. After everyone leaves, we clean up in comfortable silence, moving around each other with the practiced choreography of people who have shared space for years. "I thought I'd feel more when I saw her," I say finally. "Anger, maybe, hurt, but there was just nothing like looking at a stranger." Emma nods, understanding immediately. "She's a ghost from a life that doesn't exist anymore," she replies. She takes my hand, studying the fingers that used to tremble during chemo, now steady and strong. "Do you ever regret it, us?" "Never," I say immediately, fiercely. "You saved my life, Emma, not just physically, you saved the part of me that wanted to give up, the part that thought I wasn't worth staying for." We spend the afternoon talking, rehashing old memories with new perspective. I describe the fear I felt the night Vanessa left, how I'd believed her abandonment meant I was fundamentally unlovable, broken beyond repair. Emma confesses that watching me suffer while Vanessa disappeared had awakened something protective in her that eventually transformed into love. "She thought she'd find something better out there," Emma observes, staring out the window where Vanessa stood hours ago. "And instead she found exactly what she deserved, nothing. The best revenge really is living well, isn't it?" I consider this thought. "We didn't have to plot or scheme, we just built something real, and that's more than she'll ever have." We discuss whether we should have handled it differently, been kinder, more sympathetic to Vanessa's obvious struggles. But we both agree. Vanessa's request for money crossed a line that erased any obligation we might have felt. She didn't come for closure or genuine apology. She came because she'd hit bottom and thought I might be a ladder. That evening we take our usual walk through the neighborhood, tree-lined streets filled with families and the quiet contentment of suburban success. Emma points out the house on the corner that just went up for sale, joking that maybe we should buy it as a rental property. I laugh, squeezing her hand. "You know what the worst part is for her?" Emma muses as we turn onto our street. "It's not that you survived, it's not even that you moved on, it's that you're happy. Genuinely, completely happy, and she can see it, but she can never touch it." I stop walking, pulling Emma close under a streetlight. The setting sun catches her hair, and I'm overwhelmed by gratitude. For the cancer that almost killed me, for the sister who refused to let me die, for the love that grew from ashes. I almost thanked her today, I admit, for leaving, because if she hadn't, I'd never have found us. Emma kisses me soft and certain. "She'll spend the rest of her life wondering what if." "We won't, that's the difference," she replies against my lips. We return home as darkness falls to the Who. See, we chose together, furnished with memories we created deliberately. Emma curls against me on the couch, listening to the heartbeat that chemo almost stopped, that she fought to keep going, that now beats strong and steady. I think about the note Vanessa left 10 years ago. "I never signed up for this." She was right. She signed up for easy, for comfortable, for vows that only mattered when convenient. She never signed up for real love, which is hard and terrifying and requires showing up even when everything is falling apart. Emma did. Emma signed up for all of it, even when she didn't have to. She signed up for forever. Not the fairy tale version where everything goes smoothly, but the real version where love is a choice you make every day. "What are you thinking about?" Emma asks, sensing my mental wandering. "Just wondering if now is the right time," I answer, reaching into the end table drawer where I've been hiding a small velvet box for 3 months. Emma sits up straighter, eyes widening as I pull out the ring box. "Richard," she breathes. "I know we said marriage was just a piece of paper," I begin, opening the box to reveal the emerald-cut diamond I chose specifically for her. "But today made me realize something. She was my wife and she ran. You were my sister and you stayed. Maybe it's time to make you something even more." Emma's eyes fill with tears, but she's smiling. "Are you asking me what I think you're asking me?" she whispers. "I'm asking if you want to be my wife, Emma. Not because we need a piece of paper to prove what we have, but because I want the whole world to know that you chose me and I chose you, officially and forever," I explain. She doesn't hesitate. "Yes, God, yes," she says through tears. As I slide the ring onto her finger, I think about the woman who stood on our porch today, asking for handouts from the life she abandoned. She wanted forgiveness, money, a second chance at the comfortable existence she'd walked away from. What she got instead was the truth. Some doors, once closed, can never be reopened. Some choices echo forever. Some people show you exactly who they are in crisis, and believing them the first time can save you decades of disappointment. The best revenge isn't elaborate schemes or public humiliation. It's building something so beautiful, so genuine, so unshakable that the person who wronged you can only stand outside looking in, forever locked out of the paradise they chose to leave. 6 months after Vanessa appeared at our door, Emma and I stand barefoot on a beach in Maui, surrounded by 12 of our closest friends, and the sound of waves creating the perfect soundtrack for promises we actually intend to keep. It's not a traditional wedding. We still harbor too much skepticism about the institution. But it's a commitment ceremony that feels more meaningful than any legal document. Emma wears a simple white dress that moves with the ocean breeze. I wear linen pants and a shirt the color of the water behind us. Our officiant is Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a friend from Emma's hospital who's seen us together through various crises. "Some people run from hard things," Jennifer says, looking directly at us. "These two ran toward each other through the hardest thing imaginable and built something unbreakable." Later at the small reception dinner, Emma's colleague asks the question everyone's been too polite to voice. "Does it feel weird, given that you're technically siblings?" she inquires carefully. Emma doesn't flinch. "We're not related by blood in any meaningful way, and honestly, I don't care what people think. Richard is the love of my life. I'd choose him again in every universe, every timeline," she responds confidently. I add, besides, after surviving cancer and rebuilding from nothing, worrying about social conventions seems pretty trivial. Back in our mainland life, we thrive. I'm promoted again, now overseeing the finance department for our company's entire Western region, $180K salary, stock options, the works. Emma takes a position as Director of Emergency Services at a major hospital, leading a team of 40 nurses. We travel, Iceland, Japan, New Zealand. We adopt 2 rescue dogs. We host dinner parties where friends joke about our unconventional love story, always with affection rather than judgment. Vanessa never contacts us again. Through the social media grapevine, I learned she moved back to her hometown 3 states away, living with a cousin working retail again. Her Facebook profile shows a woman who looks defeated, posting vague inspirational quotes about starting over. There are no photos of partners, vacations, or anything suggesting happiness. Emma feels a fleeting moment of pity, then remembers my hollow eyes the day Vanessa left me to face cancer alone. The pity evaporates. One evening, we're cooking dinner together. Her chopping vegetables, me managing the stovetop, our movements synchronized after years of shared domestic lee. The local news plays in the background. A story comes on about a charity event for cancer patients. "I should do something with that," I say thoughtfully. "Donate, maybe volunteer. I never paid forward what you did for me." Emma sets down her knife and crosses to me, wrapping her arms around my waist. "You pay it forward every day by being present, by not running, by choosing to live fully instead of letting what happened make you bitter," she reassures me. "Is it wrong that I'm glad she left?" I ask, voicing the thought that's been circling since Vanessa's appearance. Not glad for the pain, but glad for the outcome. If she'd stayed, I'd have recovered and gone back to that mediocre marriage. I'd never have known this. "It's not wrong," Emma assures me. "It's honest. She did you the biggest favor of your life by revealing who she really was before you wasted another decade on her." As we're cleaning up, my phone buzzes. An email from LinkedIn. Someone's viewed my profile. I click idly, and there it is. Vanessa Mitchell. She's viewed my profile, seen my job title, my accomplishments, the professional photo of me looking healthy and successful. I show Emma, she raises an eyebrow. Checking up on what she lost, she asks. Probably, I reply. I delete the notification without responding to the implicit connection request. Doesn't matter though, that door is closed. Locked, Emma corrects. Nailed shut, I add. Bulldozed and paved over, Emma finishes, and we both laugh. That night, lying in bed in our beautiful home, Emma's head on my chest, listening to the heartbeat she fought to preserve, I think about doors. The ones that close, the ones that open, and the rare ones that stay open even when they should close. Vanessa closed her door the day she walked out. Emma and I opened a new one together, and what we found inside was worth every scar, every tear, every moment of darkness. The last thought I have before sleep is simple. She'll never know what this feels like, and that's exactly as it should be.